Just to point out a fascinating thing based on the shiur, we just gave a shiur on the smell of the Kitores, which went from the base of Migdash until Yericho. So the gemara says that from Yerushalayim to Yericho was 10 pasos. 10 pasos. The gemara says that the goats would sneeze from the Kitores and the ladies didn't need perfume. So let's make a cheshbon. A parsa is 4 kilometers, which is 2.5 miles. So let's make a cheshbon. So if there's 10 parsa, if a parsa is 4 kilometers, so 10 parsa would be 40 kilometers. And I checked out, it says that usually takes person average walking speed is 3.1 miles per hour. And 40 kilometers, and that speed would take you 8 hours. If you go 3.1 miles per hour, average walking speed, that would take you 40 kilometers. Because it would be 5 kilometers per hour, and 40 kilometers would be 8 hours. Now, on Google Maps, it says that to go from Yericho to Yerushalayim, from Yerushalayim to Yericho, it takes a little bit more than 7.5 hours. So it's very close. So again, it takes for Yerushalayim to Yericho is 10 parsa. 10 parsa is 40 kilometers. It takes to walk 40 kilometers 8 hours. And the 10 parsa from Yericho from Yerushalayim to Yericho, today it takes 7.5 hours, a little bit more than 7.5 hours. So I was a little bothered. Why doesn't it take 8 hours? Why does it take 7.5 hours? So obviously the walking time has to do with the plane. If is it bumpy, high up, mountains, it can take much longer, it can take much shorter. So depending on what it is. If it's flat, then it takes 8 hours. So they told me the answer that the way from Yerushalayim to Yericho is actually at a significant descent. It's going downwards. Because Yericho is located in the Jordan Rift Valley. It's in the valley, which is one of the lowest places on earth. Mashenken Yerushalayim is 2,500 feet above sea level. Yericho is 250 meters below sea level. Okay, so you're actually going close to 3,000 feet down. It's going very steep. So the terrain from the route from Yerushalayim to Yericho is mostly downhill. Some of them is very steep. So, makes a lot of sense. If usually it takes to walk 40 kilometers 8 hours, if this is very steep going downhill, it's a little bumpy and things, so it's going to be shorter. So that's why it's 7.5 hours. Now, listen to here. Fascinating. What is the real distance today from Yerushalayim to Yericho? What's the real distance? The real distance is 26 kilometers. 26 kilometers. So, if you go with the cheshbonis, it doesn't stim, because Yericho is really 26 kilometers, and the walking is really the length of 40 kilometers. The gemara says for Yerushalayim to Yericho is 40 kilometers. But really it's 26 kilometers. But Tzachayni, the walking distance, Taka adds up. It's Taka the length of 40 kilometers. What's going on over here? Dafn Zogin, the Gemara says from Yerushalayim to Yericho is 10 parsa, which is 40 kilometers. It's talking about the walking distance. It's not talking about the actual distance from here to here on a map. It's actually talking about the walking distance. The walking distance is 10 parsa. That's what would be understood in this Gemara.